You're here, aren't you? Give me back my daughter. I was too stunned to reply immediately. Could this man be her biological father? You found her in that field over there, didn't you? I left her there 7 years ago. He showed no remorse. Anger welled up inside me. Why now? You have no right to call yourself a father. As I raised my voice, the man claiming to be her father pushed me away. A click of his tongue. A sharp pain surged through me. I might have broken a bone. My husband, Robert, rushed me to a nearby hospital. None of us, not me, Robert, or our daughter, or that man, could have ever imagined such an encounter here. My name is Betty Smith. I live with my husband, Robert, in the countryside. We recently celebrated our 60th birthdays. We don't have children, so it was a quiet celebration, just the two of us. We've always cherished our anniversaries. I spent my days happily and peacefully with the ever-smiling and kind-hearted Robert. One day, during a walk in the neighborhood, I heard a baby's cry from a field. It pains me to say this, but the baby seemed to have been abandoned, carelessly left there. Who could do such a thing? Are parents still around? I looked around, but no one was in sight. I quickly called the police and informed them about the baby. The baby was dressed in a cute outfit adorned with pink flowers, sleeping, oblivious to her surroundings. While waiting for the police, they arrived within minutes. After handing the baby over and explaining the situation, the officer said, "Thank you. You can go home now." I was worried about the baby and I asked to be updated after the hospital checkup. I hurried home. "Robert, there's something I need to tell you." I immediately shared the day's events with him. We were registered as foster parents and had recently renewed our registration. If there was any way we could help this child, we wanted to. Robert seemed to feel the same way. A few days later, we received a call. The baby was in good health and was being cared for at a city infant home. After some procedures, we decided to adopt her. We were determined to protect her at all costs. The first time we met her, her peaceful sleeping face touched our hearts. The baby was a girl, and we named her Zoe. Zoe was always smiling. She brought even more joy into our already happy lives. I felt so blessed to have met Zoe. As summer approached, I made a hair tie using the flower decoration from Zoe's outfit, wanting to cherish the memory of our miraculous encounter. When I showed it to little Zoe, her eyes sparkled with joy. Zoe grew up healthy and started preschool. She loved playing in the sand outside and folding origami or playing with clay indoors. Zoe, with her nimble fingers, loved creating things. She once made a clay figure of the three of us holding hands and gifted it to us. That figure still adorns our living room. In elementary school, Zoe spent more time playing in the schoolyard with her classmates. Today, we played dodgeball. Cherishing the moments when we talk about school events has always been a joy for us. Zoe often shares stories about her friends, like the kinds of things they did for her, or the sweet words they said. She has this knack for noticing the good in people, even when it's easy to overlook. I often think about how she's grown into such a kind-hearted girl. Given that we once believed we might never have a child, every day with her feels like a miracle. Both Robert and I are absolutely smitten with Zoe. We joke about being those overly proud parents. When Zoe was in first grade, we attended our first sports day. It was a hot day, and while the heat was a bit much, seeing Zoe give her all made it worth it. The first graders had a race, and Zoe had been practicing hard every day leading up to it. The sound of the starting pistol echoed, and a group of kids raced across the school track. Then it was Zoe's turn. I clenched my fist, silently cheering her on. With the sound of the pistol, Zoe took off, and to our surprise, she finished first. It all happened so fast. Zoe received a paper gold medal from her teacher. Spotting us in the crowd, she flashed us the biggest smile and gave us a peace sign. When we got home, she was still beaming. Hey, how was my race? You were amazing, Zoe. You're so fast. We were so surprised when you finished first. Zoe, looking proud, said she had practiced hard. How about we make your favorite omelet rice tonight? Hearing that, Zoe jumped with joy. I always thought of her as my little girl, but seeing her march proudly and run with all her might at the sports day made me realize she's growing up. From then on, Robert and I began to wonder if we should tell her about being abandoned, and, if so, how. We had been too preoccupied with raising our young daughter to think about it. As kids grow older, they start to show interest in their past. We knew she might start asking questions any day now. One weekday afternoon, when Zoe was in second grade and at school, it was just Robert and me at home. Unexpectedly, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find a man in his 30s. He introduced himself as James and abruptly said, "Give me back my daughter." I was at a loss for words. Could he be Zoe's biological father? "You found her in the field nearby, right? I left her there 7 years ago," he claimed without a hint of remorse. I was furious. "After all this time, you have no right to call yourself a father." As I raised my voice, Robert, sensing something was wrong, started heading towards the door. Just then, James pushed me with a huff. Given the size difference and his strength, I fell easily. Feeling a sharp pain, I thought I might have broken something. "Are you okay?" As Robert rushed to my side, James, perhaps realizing he might have seriously hurt me, ran away. Robert stayed by my side, seeing my pain, and quickly called an ambulance. We were in a rural area with no nearby hospitals. I ended up being admitted to a larger hospital in the next town over. Robert, with a deeply concerned look, stayed with me the whole time, but it was nearing 3 in the afternoon. "Zoe will be home soon. You should head back," I told him. After he left, Robert immediately called my cell phone. He suggested we keep James' visit a secret from Zoe for now. I agreed. We didn't know the full story, and I wasn't eager to speak ill of Zoe's biological father. Lying in my hospital bed, I pondered how to explain everything to Zoe. On my second day in the hospital, a Saturday, Zoe and Robert came to visit since school was out. "Are you okay? It still hurts, doesn't it?" Zoe didn't ask about the incident, only showing concern for my injury. Perhaps kind-hearted Zoe, still so young, was trying not to pry too much. I felt even more guilty thinking that. "I hope you get better soon." With that, Zoe and Robert left together. From then on, my daughter and Robert visited me every chance they got. One day, Zoe pushed my wheelchair out to the hospital garden. The breeze feels so good. The garden was filled with beautiful flowers, lifting my spirits. While pushing the wheelchair, Zoe was stopped by a woman. The woman, also in a wheelchair, slowly approached us. I turned to see her face. Both Zoe and I were stunned into silence. The woman looked just like Zoe. Introducing herself as Emma, she asked Zoe a question. "Where did you get that hair tie?" "It's a decoration from a dress I wore as a baby." Hearing this, the woman began to cry. It seemed Emma recognized the decoration. Both Zoe and I were taken aback by the sudden turn of events. Then Emma slowly said, "I believe she's my daughter." She explained that the cute pink dress Zoe wore as a baby was something she had knitted in anticipation of her daughter's birth. Emma had always been frail and was hospitalized soon after giving birth. She had left her daughter in her husband's care. However, one day, sometime after she was hospitalized, she heard something shocking from her husband. One day, her husband shockingly told her he had abandoned their daughter in a field because he couldn't love her. He claimed that when he returned to the field the next day, the baby was gone. Devastated by the revelation, Emma struggled to focus on her recovery. She spent her days in despair, but held on to the hope of seeing her daughter again and had been searching for a way. She even consulted lawyers. "Do you know a man named James?" Emma's eyes widened. "He's my husband." Everything clicked into place. "James came to see me recently," I told her. I then explained to Emma about James's demand to return his daughter. Zoe silently listened to our conversation. When discussing James' demeanor and the way he spoke, it became clear that he was indeed Emma's husband. There was talk that James, upon learning she was consulting with lawyers, might have rushed to take their daughter back. Even though he's moving forward with the divorce, he hesitates, thinking how hard it would be for their daughter to reunite with him and find no father figure. I'm concerned about Zoe and keep an eye on her. But Zoe seemed to have sensed that we weren't her real parents, and perhaps she had been abandoned, yet she wasn't overly upset. "Let's meet in this garden again." I said this with a smile to Emma. Zoe nodded in agreement. Seeing Zoe and me like this, tears welled up in Emma's eyes. From then on, I started spending more time in the garden. Whenever I spotted Emma in the garden, I approached and talked to her. Sometimes it was just the two of us, Emma and me. and other times Zoe or Robert would join. As we chatted during our hospital stays, Emma and I grew closer. I hoped we could both be discharged without any issues. But one day, while Robert was pushing my wheelchair, I unexpectedly ran into James. "Hey, glad to see you're okay. So have you decided to give back our daughter? With you like this, you can't possibly raise her properly. Maybe you're the ones unfit to be parents," James continued with his harsh words. "If you want her back that badly, fine." "Hey, wait a minute," Robert said, looking worried, but I smiled at him. James seemed pleased, thinking I was finally willing to return Zoe. "But you'll have to pay back the $500,000. "What, $500,000? James looked utterly confused. "Emma's considering divorcing you." Upon hearing this, James was taken aback, wondering how I knew. I informed James not only about the divorce, but also that we intended to claim child support. On top of that, I demanded he pay for the expenses incurred during my hospital stay. James had assumed he'd be the one receiving child support since Emma was hospitalized and couldn't care for Zoe. But Robert, standing behind me, pointed out that with all the evidence of James' misdeeds, he wouldn't be recognized as a fit parent. "Even if you don't return our daughter, we'll still claim the $500,000. Hearing our stance, James clicked his tongue in frustration and left the scene. During our hospital stay, we became quite close with Emma. When we showed her photos from our album detailing events from the past 7 years, she was delighted. In Zoe's first grade sports day, she came first in the race. Hearing this, Zoe looked a bit shy, trying to gauge Emma's reaction. "That's amazing, Zoe." Being praised like this by Emma, Zoe beamed with joy. Emma always had our support, whether it was Robert, Zoe, or me. We did everything we could to help, even consulting with lawyers. Emma always expressed her gratitude to us. Later on, I heard James had gotten himself into a debt crisis. Around the same time, I was discharged from the hospital. I exchanged contact details with Emma, telling her to reach out anytime. After a while, we received news that Emma had also been discharged, which was a relief. Moreover, her divorce with James was finalized. After discussing with Emma, we decided to become Zoe's adoptive parents instead of her foster parents. Life continued as usual with Robert, Zoe, and me, but we also kept meeting with Emma. On Mother's Day, Zoe drew a picture of the 4 of us smiling. In the drawing, Zoe's hair was adorned with a floral hair tie. Zoe still cherishes that hair tie. She told me it's a precious item that connects the 4 of us. Today, after a long time, Emma is joining us for dinner at our home. "Zoe, what do you want to eat today?" "Omelet rice." Every time I ask her what she wants, this is her reply. I adore Zoe for that. Today, like every other day, I cherish the moments with Robert, Zoe, and Emma. Gratitude for the 4 of us resonates deeply. Watching Zoe happily munch on her omelet rice, we all can't help but smile.